Hey guys, welcome back to Angel and Angela. And on this topic, you guys, I wanted to talk to you guys about the dangers of the narcissist awakening. The dangers of the narcissist awakening. Just as the empaths go through many stages of awakenings, I'm pretty sure that you guys went through certain awakenings at the beginning of your relationship or hardships with these type of people. And you look back now and you realize that there were so many moments where you woke up and you saw the world differently. You saw people differently. There were many moments where you didn't know what was real, what was fake. You didn't know who to trust, who to look up to, where to turn to. Times where you didn't know who to be, you didn't even know who to be. You didn't know who to be. There was times that maybe you felt like you had everything figured out. Then you questioned yourself. You questioned your own motives. You question what you're willing to do, not just to yourself, but to others. And you question what is so different about you. Why is it that you're just not capable of doing certain things, right? So when you come into your awakening, you're still wondering why it is that you're just not capable of doing certain things like that narcissists get away with, or that try to get away with. A lot of times when we're coming into our awakening, we don't realize that narcissists go into their own awakenings too. Just like, us having to pick between evil and good, and realizing that, there's just there's a limit. We have an evil side to us, but that evil side it's almost implanted there so that you can know how to move when these narcissistic people come into your path. So the narcissist almost feels like if they came across you, or they're in your presence, they're in your presence for a reason. So when you come into an awakening and you don't trust certain people because they might be a narcissist, the narcissist can tell you're different because they feel like, hey, you're not revealing as much about yourself as I would. They feel like I would have told you many things to make you feel comfortable so that you can share things with me. So when you don't share things with them, it can make them feel almost dumbfounded. And I think that a lot of us as empaths, we understand that feeling, because when we're going through our own awakening, we want to talk to other people and kind of fill them out and get some comfort knowing that, we're not alone, basically. So the narcissist has that same feeling, right? And this is why you connect to the narcissist, because you're like, hey, I know you're searching for something. I'm searching for something too. And you tell, you talk about yourself. You're open to this person. And the narcissist, they like it when people are open to them, especially right away, because now they get to almost in their mind get an insight to who you are. They want to know who you are right away because they are getting ready to share some things about themselves, and they want to see how you react to those things. They want to set up an image of what their life is. They want to set up this image of this fantasy life, and they want you to feed into it. And, they want you to almost feel like you're just like them. And even if the narcissist is very talkative, even if that's the case, some of them choose not to be talkative because they feel like they know they're going to say something that's going to offend someone. And then some of them, they just say stuff because they're studying you, if anything, right? What I've came to realize about, how opposites attract and how there's many different levels to narcissism, right? We know that there's like bottom feeders, there's, greedy people, needy people. We know that, and we know that there's different awakenings for different types of narcissists and empaths, and that we all see the world in different ways, and based on our experiences, we can have a deeper insight to certain things. So when you're questioning the narcissist on their past, a lot of times they don't really want to go and talk about the past as much. They almost want to like forget about it. They don't want to acknowledge the things that they've done to others. And if they do acknowledge it, it's kind of like, I know I did a lot of bad things, but that's not who I am anymore, right? That's how they handle that, when it comes to their awakening. They're like, oh, I don't, I can't feel guilty over the things I did in the past, So as an empath, you're kind of like, yeah, I get you, because I was being manipulated by narcissists. So I did some things that I'm not proud of either. So this is where you start feeling like while they're having their awakening, you're having an awakening too. And narcissists feel like you came across their path for a reason. So to them, it's never an accident. And to the empath, in ways, we need to look at these things too, because they reflect onto us certain qualities or things about ourselves that we might not like. And the problem is that a lot of us stay there for too long. So we're supposed to learn something and just keep going, right? So the narcissist feels like they're not passing this level. They keep relearning things. So by the time that they do pass, because they feel in their mind, they feel like they're trying to break this addiction. So, it's almost kind of crazy that opposites attract, because it's always, even if two narcissists are getting together to attack you, a lot of times there's someone controlling the situation, right? There's someone behind the scenes, and there's more to the story that most of the time the narcissist leads on. So when they're having their awakening, they don't want to think about the things that they've done to others. They don't want to think about certain things about them, but they'll continuously tell you over and over how much of a good person they are, right? Or they'll tell you, that they're not that person anymore, or they'll tell you that they're happy in their lives, and they'll keep repeating it to you. I'm happy, regardless of what happened in the past, regardless of all the bad karma I've been going through and I've went through, I'm not a bad person. Or, I found someone that I'm happy with. It doesn't matter how I ended up with this person. It doesn't matter that this person was married. At least now I'm happily married myself. So they're living in this new awakening, new reality, but they're not acknowledging anything that they've done in the past or how they got to where they're at this point. They're going to leave a lot of things out. When the narcissist has an awakening, they lack something, even in the new shoes that they have to fill. And that's the fact that they are incapable of having the emotional intelligence, right? And without emotional intelligence, you're not able to grow as a person. So sometimes that's the narcissist's own karma, meaning that these people could have their own business, but their business could be better, but they have to use others in order to keep their business going, because without these other people that are actually smarter than them, everything will crumble because they don't have that emotional intelligence. So they will always do things that will seem off to you. So what narcissists tend to do when they're having an awakening is that they'll acknowledge what they did was wrong. They'll tell themselves that they shouldn't beat themselves over it. Then they will blame certain people that actually defended them, and they will turn on those people. And those people a lot of times are black sheep themselves. So what narcissists tend to do is that now that they've gathered enough data over these other people, they will throw that person under the bus. Yet in the future, when they're trying to connect with other people, they will bring up that person and, they'll say something like, oh yeah, I had a cousin that's like that. I'm really close to my cousin used to defend me when it comes to stuff like that. But they won't tell you that they don't talk to that person anymore, or that person, doesn't mess with them for a reason. But deep down inside, they're still blaming that same person, that defended them. This is why when you're in a relationship with one of these people, they will blame you when you know you didn't do anything to this person, because the narcissist has came into an awakening. But even during their awakening, they don't want to believe certain things. Like, they don't want to believe in karma. They don't want to believe in certain things. So what they tend to do is they start talking positively, because that's something that you instilled into them. So what happens now is that while they're coming into this awakening, they're waking up to almost being a image of you. So anything that they learned from you, they will copy it, they will project it. And this is where you'll see some of them hoover you, and they'll even say the same things that you said to them once upon a time. So if you told this person, hey, you should have some human decency to at least answer me, or at least tell me the truth. I'd rather want you to tell me the truth than gaslighting me and making me feel like I'm crazy, right? So you're telling them something like that. Now, when the narcissist is going through their awakening, they're going to start repeating a lot of that stuff, whether it's with the new supplier to you, and they're going to go through their own awakening. But during their awakening, they're going to be trying to be good, right? Because they know they're lacking some emotional intelligence. So now they're going to mimic the things that you taught them. And this is why certain narcissists go from person to person and person so quickly, because they're trying to learn things that they can't understand when it comes to emotional intelligence. So when a narcissist is going through an awakening, it's very dangerous, just because these people could have came out of drugs. They could have came out of some type of mental recovery. And as we know it, every level of, like I said, whether you're dealing with narcissists who are like, really like have that crabs in the barrel mentality, to narcissists who are more advanced. In either cases, you're always going to see an empath, and they're going to have similar stories, but that empath is the one that's pulling them up. So what narcissists do during their awakening is that they start to make themselves seem like they're better than those people that they cross. Like, oh, I wasn't proud of doing that, but that person's not a good person, or that person wasn't a good friend, or I'm closer to my best friend than I am to my sibling, but they don't have any emotional intelligence to understand that the reason they're closer to that person, it might be because, you didn't grow up with them. They don't know you like that, or they might even have control over you in some type of way, or they might have been someone that led them the wrong path, but yet they will bash you right? They will bash you. These people will change their lives. These narcissists will change their lives. And they'll try to live a righteous life, which is not a bad thing. But the thing is that they will never have the emotional intelligence to admit the things that they've done, meaning that they're going to make it seem like they never were on drugs, like they never were out here stealing from you, like they were never hitting you, like they're going to act like they're not bad people. They never meant to do anything that they did. And, and a part of you will feel sorry for them, but a lot of times they're manipulating you. They want you, they have a sob story ready for you. They want you to believe that they changed their life. They want you to believe that, they're living this happily ever life, that they're married now, that they have children now, that everything is fun. We go on vacations. They want to put this image out to you. They're trying to force this on you, but they're not telling you that they can't emotionally connect to their kids. So what they try to do is they try to make you feel like they're the greatest parent. They're like, oh, I'm always doing this. I'm always doing that for them. Oh, I have the perfect relationship. Me and my husband, we don't argue. So they make it, the way that these people are full of it is because they're trying to force you to believe that they're happy. And most happy empaths who have came into a spiritual awakening, you could just feel it in our aura. We're not forcing it on anyone. And when we talk about something, we're not talking about it from a place of pain or anything like that. So when a narcissist hears you talk about certain things, they feel like they're still living in their karma. So when you say something to them, they feel sorry for you almost. They're like, oh, really? Like they're getting off on gossip. They're trying to make it seem like they care about you and they're empathetic people. They think that that's like the normal thing to do, right? But in reality, they think that you're getting karma because they're still living in their karma. And that's how you know like something is off. And you'll ask these people questions, or you'll just have this, you'll keep questioning like, okay, well, if this is your story and you're coming into a spiritual awakening, why is it that certain people don't do the things that you did? And you won't even really even though you're acting like you're taking responsibility, it doesn't really seem like you really care about what the damage that you did to others. Like it seems like you're just like, I changed, I'm a new person, and that's it. It doesn't, you can't even feel it. It's like they're so focused on the fact that they can't even believe that they got out of that situation, but they know that they conned themselves into that situation, but they won't admit it. So when they're going through this spiritual awakening, it's like they know that they have this wicked side, but they will continuously make it seem like that side just does not exist anymore. And this is why you'll see that a lot of narcissists, they're acting like they're better than you. Some of them are acting like they don't have a past, like they've never been through stuff. And this is why you'll find yourself like saying stuff like, why are they messing with me when they've done worse, or their children have done worse? Or, why is it that certain things that I do get, almost, pushed as this big agenda where it's just blown out of proportion. But when they do things, it's like, it's okay, and then you get people that do things that are very demonic and they get the most help. And you're like, dang, when I was going through certain situations in my spiritual awakening, didn't anyone help me as an empath? But here these people are that are, claiming to be victims, but they're secretly evil. And they're claiming that they were just evil because they were in addiction. They were going through something in their life. A family member died. Their mom died. And all these different stories. But it always boils down to the same question during your spiritual awakening. And it's like, why wasn't I capable of doing certain things to certain people? And not just doing certain things, why wasn't I capable of doing these cunning things for months and years at a time? What's different between you and I? What's different? You're trying to relate to them and put yourself in their shoes. But you're like, why, even when I was going through the same similar situation, I couldn't do certain things to the people that I care about. So you're thinking like, yeah, because there's certain people that are in the same situation, the same addiction, the same got the narcissism running deep through their blood. And you're like, well, why won't this person, when they were going through the same thing, why didn't they do that to their parent or to their family member or their friend? Why didn't they do that to them? So narcissists will always have excuses, whether it's drugs, whether it's they always have excuses to why they did bad things. And even when, as an empath, you do bad things, a lot of times you're doing bad things because someone was controlling you to do these bad things. So a lot of times these people who are playing the victim, they didn't have anyone telling them to do bad things. They were doing these things on their own. And a lot of times, they never even questioned themselves and the things that they were doing, not even for a second, and they try to make you feel like that part of them is over. They're not that type of person anymore. They change. But you will feel it in your spirit, and you will have your hair on your arms stand up, because you will feel the wickedness no matter what. You will feel it. Something in you will say, this person's full of crap. They're trying to undermine me. They you could tell that their emotional intelligence is at a very low level, but they're trying to outsmart you. They're trying to get information on you. They're trying to have a perception of you. They want to build a perception of you so bad. And that's how you know that they're not really free people. They're not really free thinkers, and they don't have that type of emotional intelligence. So it makes you realize that, yeah, maybe this person has changed, but they still have that other side to them that they claim they don't have, that they claim was a part of their addiction, So yeah, they might have self-control right now, but some of those people are narcissists, and they try to make you feel like they're having an awakening just because they're cleaning themselves up, whether it's, they're not into the same things they used to be into, or they changed their life and now they're working in corporate, and they've changed, and they claim they changed, but you will see it in their eyes. You will see that when they talk about certain things, they burned a lot of bridges, and you could tell the bridges they burned, they're very it almost seems like it doesn't really mean anything to them. They will make it seem like, oh, it made them who they are, but you will see that they are very, almost like you'll feel this hateful energy while they're trying to fool you to believe that they are different because of their spiritual awakening. So the only thing that happens during this spiritual awakening with a lot of narcissists is that they learn to refrain from a lot of things that they were doing before that were leading them in a hamster wheel. When they come into a spiritual awakening, they also realize that a lot of those bridges that they burned keep reappearing in their life in the future over and over again. And it kind of becomes humorous to them. And sometimes they like to keep the gossip going, but they're not going to let you know that. They're going to try to hide that, because at the end of the day, the narcissist is always in a competition. So they always want to make it seem like their life is a success story. and they're living in this like delusional world. But their whole thing with the success story is that you could tell that their success story is fake because they're not even really happy for other people. They're competing with other people. They're saying little things to other people to triangulate a person just because they don't fully know or understand that person. So, a narcissist spiritual awakening, you guys, can be just very dangerous in so many ways because they will make it seem like you were the narcissist, or they will make it seem like, okay, I might have been manipulative, but I'm not a narcissist. I'm just like you. I was being misguided. I was an addiction. So they'll make you believe certain things and you can fall for it. Because who doesn't like a success story, right? We can see ourselves in that, But when you start seeing that these people, maybe, you were trying to help them and they devalued you and you lost everything. Now they're doing better, right? And you're not doing so well. Now these people are behaving like they're better than you. But you were the one helping them when they didn't have anything, or you were the one defending them. And that's how you know you're dealing with narcissists that are having spiritual awakenings, and they're confused. Like, they know they have a wicked side, but they think that they are good people, but they won't acknowledge, like I said, if they're in a toxic relationship, if they're triangulating people, if they're sleeping with people's husbands, if they're doing weird stuff, they're never going to acknowledge those things. And if they do acknowledge it, they're just going to justify why they did those things, or they'll tell you, oh, I don't have loyalty to those people. I don't have any loyalty towards them, or I don't really know them like that. Even if they were running in the same pack, they feel like, oh, I don't really know them like that. Like, they give you a lot of answers that will make you question this person's emotional intelligence because they can't see the basic principles of certain things that we do as a community of empaths. So this person is someone that is like, you can try to train to be good. You can try to train this person to change their life, but there's always this sadistic nature in them. And sometimes that sadistic nature is pushed so far that they start to believe that your life is almost their life, and what they did and how they hurt people was just not that much of a big deal, because hurt people and they feel as if they are the empaths. But they will soon learn that all those bridges that they burned, they're going to have to go back to the past and start again and apologize to people. And we're going to see if you're really empathetic, because you're going to have to apologize and actually mean it. And you're going to have to suffer and accept the suffering with a smile on your face. So we're going to see if you really are up for the test in your spiritual awakening, narcissist. So a lot of narcissists are just not up to the test no matter how much you talk to them, because they are always going to look at your emotional intelligence as being stupid. Like, there's something stupid about what you're talking about. Like, I get what you're saying, but I really don't get what you're saying, because that's not how it goes. And then I'm older than you, or I went to school for this, or trust me, I hung around these type of people, and they're only telling you their version, and they feel like their version of reality is the truth. They can't see different realities and understand that you have your own reality, but there's many different realities, and we can all come together to understand that there is one higher source that none of us can control. So the narcissist will come to that point where they know that there's something they can't control, and that's what the spiritual awakening is. But because they don't have any emotional intelligence, when they have to keep going through the motions of going to the past and reliving certain things or having to apologize to people, they won't want to accept that reality. And this is why the narcissist will always be on a hamster wheel. And while they're on that hamster wheel, they want you to believe that they've had this spiritual awakening, they've changed their life, and they're new people, and they're like, hey, who I used to be, that's the old me, this is the new me. And they think that they're like a new, better version of who they used to be, but they're just a very secretive, more cunning version, because they want you to believe that they're an open book, but in reality they're still just as manipulative, and they want to see if they can open you up. And this is why, if you allow these people in, and you're not really allowing them all the way in, you're just trying to see their insight, you will see that if you don't give them that same type of validation and admiration every day, the next day they'll look at you like there's something wrong with you, like, they're acting like they're having this spiritual awakening and you're the enemy or you did something. And you'll confuse that sometimes with maybe that's an empath who's having a spiritual awakening. Only that it's not an empath that's having a spiritual awakening. And if you open the door to that person, they can come into your home and destroy your foundation. And then they turn around and say, hey, you should have never helped me. Or, hey, I've been up and down, and, it's your fault. You shouldn't have brought me around. Or, so you're dealing with people that will not validate you even when they're going through their spiritual awakening, and eventually when they finally gain enough knowledge, they will make it seem like anyone who doesn't see the world the way they see them is beneath them. And this is why you'll tell yourself, how dare that person, talk to me like that? When I met them, they were out of their mind on the street. Now I'm going through some challenging times and they can't even empathize with me. They're acting like, something's wrong with me, but let's not talk about what they did. And then other people will accept them and praise them for changing their life like there's some success story. And you're like, what about me? I wasn't expecting to be a success story, but I'm the one they were beating up, and I'm the one that motivated them to do better. And everyone was just expecting you to be strong, take the abuse. And when you're finally like, okay, I've been used up, and you can't take it anymore now. You're at your boiling point. Now they're on the narcissist side, and now they're looking down on you, and everyone's looking down on you. And that's because they're all vibrating off the same energy. They're all narcissists. They've all done cunning things. They've all have basically went to hell, living in their hell, and they can get together to make each other feel better about their hell. And what better way to feel better about their spiritual awakening that they're in hell than to get together to bash the empath and make it seem like, hey, the empath, they can't get over what happened to them. Suck it up. I got through this. So their spiritual awakening is always supposed to be more, it's in their eyes, their spiritual awakening is almost like it's like, you don't understand what I went through. I went through way more things than you have. If I can make it, then you should have gotten over it by now, because I was in a very strong addiction. You're sitting here sad about some man or some woman that you said is a narcissist, get over it. So these people will make it seem like they're good people because they got out of some type of addiction or something happened in their life, and it makes you empathize with them. They think they're empaths, but they're very evil people. And if you question their evilness or something, oh yeah, they feel like, why would you question that? And you'll see that they'll keep reassuring you even more that they're good people and that they've changed, you know. But like I said, they will never, you will never see true empathy for what they've done to others. It's always kind of like, I've done a lot of things to people. Yep. You know, I had to forgive myself, you know, and things like that. So you'll fall for it because they're like, oh, I had to forgive myself. That sounds like me. So a lot of these people will turn, you know, Christians. They'll go to church. You know, they'll change their life. They'll be pastors. They'll do a whole 360, but then now they're bashing people that cannot do the 360. So that's what you're really dealing with someone that's always been a hateful person and will continue being a hateful person. And they can only relate to people who have been through the same things. They can't relate to everyone. A lot of times you're going to experience these narcissists that have had a spiritual awakening tell you, you know, that they keep bumping into people from the past, or that they saw someone who did something to them, and they're not really telling you that they did something to that person. So they're always trying to downplay what they did to people based off of how they were feeling at that time and what they were doing. They don't want to acknowledge like bad is bad and good is good. And even if they acknowledge that it was bad, you will see that it's like, they're not really remorseful, you know, and they claim that they are. They're like, I am remorseful. So it like literally plays with your mind. You don't know. But the truth of the matter is that as they get older, they won't want to look at the past. They will reinvent these stories and make it seem like they were the victims in these stories. And, you know, one thing about our past is that it haunts us, and it will haunt them until they get older and older. It will continue to haunt them in many different ways, where it's like too obvious that they're running away from their karma. It's too obvious that their karma keeps reappearing. And you will find that some of them will even apologize, but they will only apologize to certain people. They won't apologize to everyone. They'll only apologize to the people that it benefits them. So, you know, you'll hear narcissists talk about how they're bumping into people from the past, but they won't tell you the things they did. They'll tell you that those people did things to them. And, you know, this is why the truth always sets us free. The truth is always something that people are looking for in others, because if you're not telling the truth and nothing but the truth, then you're hiding something. They won't tell you that they never asked for forgiveness to those people. They won't tell you how badly they treated those people, and that they never even tried to make it right, or you know, they won't tell you that they are reliving what they've done in the past, but in a new way, you know. So they are secretive people, and when they're coming into their spiritual awakening, there's going to be a lot of secrecy. And this is why it's very important to stay clear from these people, because they will villainize you and make it seem like you've done something to them. You know, if they will make it seem like you're that narcissist in their life. They'll make it seem like you're possessive over them, even though they were, you know, basically lynching on you. They were basically feeding off of you, you know. So they were feeding off of you, you know, but they will make it seem like, you know, in their spiritual awakening, like you were the narcissist, like you did something to make them act the way that they acted. But this person chose that behavior. They've done that to other people. This is normal to them. But during their spiritual awakening, you don't want to be around these people because they will make it seem like everyone has done something to them. And in reality, they've done something to everyone. So I hope that this message was helpful for your healing. I'm sending you guys lots of love, light, and peace and healing your way. If you guys want to book a session with me, just give me 24 hours, you guys, as always, to respond to you. And if you guys are new to my podcast, welcome. Do not forget to subscribe. And, I'm sending you guys lots of love. I'll talk to you guys on the next one. Bye.